Question tags. In this video, you will learn how to use question tags in sentences. What are question tags? Let's take a look at this little comic strip. Charlie Brown said to his friend, "It's a beautiful little tree, isn't it?" And his friend said, "Yes, it is." In fact, isn't it? In "It's a beautiful little tree, isn't it?" is a question tag. Tags are small pieces of paper attached to things. For example, we have price tags, which show the price of products, while question tags are short questions such as "have you" and "aren't you," which are attached to the end of a sentence. So in the story, why does Charlie Brown add the question tag "isn't it" to the sentence "It's a beautiful little tree"? Actually, it is to ask for agreement of his friend. Do you agree that it's a beautiful little tree? Or sometimes actually we can use question tags to check whether something is correct or to confirm something with another person. Now we know why we use question tags. How about how we can form question tags? There are obviously two parts in a question tag. For example, in the question tag "is it?", there are two parts, is and it. The first part of a question tag is an auxiliary or modal verb. Auxiliary or modal verbs include am, are, is, can, have, has, do, did, does, etc. And the second part is a personal pronoun. For example, we, you, he, she, it, etc. There are two types of question tags: the positive question tags and negative question tags. For positive question tags, we have the first part as it is, with the auxiliary or modal verb plus the pronoun. And for negative question tags, we need to use the negative form of the auxiliary or the modal verb. For example, we have "don't you," "isn't it," and "won't you." So when do we use positive question tags and when do we use negative question tags? It's rather simple. We use negative question tags with positive statement. For example, "your aunt's brother." This is a positive statement and what you believe in. And when you want to check this fact that you believe in with somebody else, or when you want to confirm this with somebody, you add a negative question tag behind it, and the whole sentence becomes "your aunt's brother, aren't you?" The first part is a positive statement, and the question tag is a negative one. On the other hand, we use a positive question tag for negative statement. For example, "you don't need a rest." This is a negative statement with not in "do not," and the contraction is "don't." This is what you think, and you want to ask another person whether he or she agrees. Then you would add a positive question tag behind the sentence, and the whole sentence becomes "you don't need a rest, do you?" The first part is a negative statement, so we add a positive question tag to it. Remember that there are two parts to a question tag. The first part is the auxiliary or modal verb, and the second part is the pronoun. So let's take a look at the first part, auxiliary or modal verb first. How do we know which auxiliary or modal verb to use? We always use the same auxiliary verb that is used in the sentence. For example, for the sentence "he will be here," we will use the same auxiliary, will. And because the statement is positive, we'll use a negative tag here, and it will become "won't he?" Won't is the contraction of will and not. And for the second sentence, "it is a beautiful day," and we'll use the negative form of is in the question tag, "isn't it?" An auxiliary is the first part of a verb when the verb has two parts or more. For example, for the verb "will be," The first part is called the auxiliary. However, in many cases, there is no auxiliary to a verb. So what should we use in the question tag? Let's take a look at some sentences. If there's no auxiliary verb in a sentence, we use do, does, or did in the tag. For example, you like football, don't you? Observe that the first part is a positive statement. You like football. So we use a negative question tag. Like is in simple present tense. Therefore, we use the simple present tense. Don't. We do not use does because the pronoun following is you. You agree with don't. Using the same logic, for it looks pretty good, we use doesn't in the question tag. It looks pretty good is a positive statement. Therefore, we use a negative question tag. Looks is in simple present tense. Therefore, we use doesn't. And doesn't agrees with it. For the last one, she accepted the invitation. We use didn't because accepted is in simple past tense. Therefore, we use didn't. And because she accepted the invitation, it is a positive statement. Therefore, we use a negative question tag. The second part of a question tag is the personal pronoun. We use a pronoun in a tag to refer to a noun in a sentence. For example, life is difficult isn't it? The it here refers to life. In the second example sentence, Paul knows her address, doesn't he? The pronoun he refers to Paul. Note that for I am, the question tag is aren't I. We do not use am in the question tag. For example, I'm right, aren't I? There are some special nouns which require our special attention. We use they in the question tags after somebody or someone, everybody or everyone, and nobody or no one. For example, someone told you, didn't they? Or no one called during my absence, did they? For everything and nothing, we use it in the question tags. Nothing can go wrong, can it? Everything's all right, isn't it? We can use there in the sentence and the question tag. There won't be any tests this week, will there? Pay attention. We use it in a tag instead of this or that, and they instead of these or those. For example, we would say, that's Mr. Chan's car, isn't it? And these are your keys, aren't they? So we have gone through how to add question tags to statements. How about for orders or imperatives? After an order or request with an imperative, we can use will you or would you, and can you, can't you, or could you in the tag. For example, when you ask somebody to help you, help me move this sofa. Will you? Or would you? Or you can ask somebody to close the door for you, and you would say, close the door. Can you? Or close the door, could you? When you want to ask somebody not to do something, you would usually say, don't, blah, blah, blah. So what should we add after don't something something? We would use will you as the tag. For example, don't make so much noise, will you? Other than giving orders or requesting with imperatives, we can also make suggestions and make a request. So how can we add question tags when we make suggestions or make requests? If let's is used to make a suggestion, we use shall we as the question tag. For example, let's go for a swim, shall we? If let is used to make a request, as in let me do something or let us do something, you will add the question tag will you. For example, let me try, will you? Checkpoint. Let's see how much you've understood. Number 1. Vivian's on sick leave. What's the question tag that follows? Vivian's on sick leave is a positive statement, therefore we need to use a negative question tag. For the first part of the question tag, we can use is, the negative form of is. As for the second part of the question tag, we need a pronoun to refer to Vivian. So what's your answer? Correct, isn't she? Let's go to number 2. Number 2, everyone in the class likes her. Everyone in the class likes her is a positive statement, therefore we need a negative question tag behind it. For the first part of the question tag, what should we use when there is no auxiliary to the original verb? As for the pronoun, what is the pronoun that we can use to refer to everyone in the class? Yeah, correct. The answer is don't they. We use the negative form of do because there's no auxiliary to the verb likes, and we use they to represent everyone. Number 3, there's no milk in the refrigerator. There's no milk. This is a negative statement, therefore we should use a positive question tag. For the first part of the question tag, we can use the positive form of is no or is not. As for the second part of the question tag, what is the word that we need to use here? Should we use a pronoun or not? Correct. Is there? Number 4, Mary and her brother have returned to Hong Kong. This is a positive statement. Therefore, we need to use a negative question tag behind it. The first part of the question tag would be the auxiliary. The first part of the original verb is have. As for the second part of the question tag, we need to use a pronoun to refer to Mary and her brother. What would be your answer? Mary and her brother have returned to Hong Kong, haven't they? Number 5, your brother went to the cinema yesterday evening. This is a positive statement, therefore we need a negative question tag behind it. Again, what should be the first part of the question tag when the verb is went? And what should be the second part of the question tag? What is the pronoun that you would use to refer to your brother? Your brother went to the cinema yesterday evening, didn't he? Well done, you have finished question tags.